Great artists and many more 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 96.5 thechill.com.
At People's Bank and Trust, they help their consumer and business customers spend their time living their life, not explaining it. At People's Bank and Trust, they put people first. Find out how they can help you by clicking their banner ad at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Robinson from Advanced Title. Whether selling your home on your own or through your local realtor, please give us a call at 824-8007 for all your title work needs.
WTIM. Good morning. You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show, which is brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. Joining me in this segment is Amy Hagan, co-coordinator of the Taylorville Food Pantry. Amy, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning. Good to be here as always.
Good to have you here today to talk about kind of the transition into the summer months and what we've got going on with the food pantry. And let's talk summer months to start things off. Out of school, kids are coming with their semesters and their school years to a close. That kind of means a boom in what is needed in the community. What can you tell me about Taylorville Food Pantry's role in that boom of food need?
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, food insecurity exists in our community all the time, 24/7, 365, but particularly during the summer months, you know, our kiddos are going from having one or more nutritious meals or snacks a day to no longer having that safety net provided to them by the school system. So what that means is kids home with their families needing to feed their kids, and those families needing help of places like the Taylorville Food Pantry to fill in that gap. Fortunately enough, this next couple of weeks are going to be busy ones at the Taylorville Food Pantry. We have our annual Stamp Out Hunger partnership with the U.S. Postal Service, letter carriers, as well as our dear good friend, Termite Durbin, and our friends at the Thunderbird Lounge in Hewitttville. They really kind of take a lead and orchestrate what has handily become our largest food drive that we run in the entire course of the year. So basically, for those listening today, if your letter carrier doesn't pick up whatever it is that you want to give to the local food pantry, drop it on by to the Thunderbird Lounge, and those folks will definitely get it to us over the next week or two.
Perfect timing for what is coming up for you guys in terms of that boom situation that is almost here.
Yeah. And I actually forgot to mention to you too, the following week then launches the annual Kiwanis drive-through food drive here at Miller Media Group, family of radio stations here in Taylorville. And they set up a tent in the front parking lot of the radio station, and people can drive in, make monetary donations or leave a non-perishable food item donation. And then as soon as those items are collected, they make their way over to the food pantry about noon on Saturdays in the months of May, July, and September. So we want to beat the numbers that the Kiwanis were able to raise for us last year through that drive and those efforts.
You mentioned last year's numbers to me, nearly 5,000 pounds of food. So what goal is in mind for Amy Hagan right now?
Oh my gosh. Now nothing I like better than a goal, but I would definitely stretch that goal. Why don't we double it this year? And the reason why I say that is for those who may have been tracking the Kiwanis food drive in the past, in 2023, we actually raised close to 7,500 pounds in total. And so we dropped a little bit last year. And so I think we're capable of making up the ground that we lost last year, plus adding some this year. So let's just double last year's goal and go for around 10,000 pounds.
Let's do it. So Kiwanis Donation Day is coming up May, July, and in September. We also have the letter carrier food drive that will be happening as of this weekend, Stamp Out Hunger food drive. And then that will kind of coincide with all the students getting out for summer. And so perfect time for that as well. You mentioned those stats. You mentioned those numbers. If we can get to 10,000 pounds, I'd be pretty happy about some Kiwanis donation days.
You and me both.
As well. Why is it so important, though, that we get to that goal, especially in our community, whether it's food insecurity of children What are some of those stats that you can share with me?
Well, as you know, the Kiwanis, their heartbeat is around children and children's causes. And so the fact that they help us each year with their summer food drive initiative, we're so grateful for it. Feeding America, the last stats they have available are actually, unfortunately, from 2022, but they do a survey called Mind the Meal Gap, and it's broken down by county. And for Christian County, that number is 12%. So just actually a skosh over 12%. But what that amounts to is 1 in 8 children in our county are food insecure. So, that's a statistic that it's really unfortunate to think about. When you think about the fact that Christian County sits geographically among the most fertile agricultural ground in the entire country, and I would argue in the entire world. And the fact that we still have people that are dealing with hunger and food insecurity in our community, it's saddening. So the fact that we are here as the Taylorville Food Pantry is a safety net for those individuals, and we do the work that we do through the help of our volunteers and a community that supports us both financially and through their resources of volunteerism. We're doing what we can to alleviate a very serious issue.
1 in 8 children is no small number, roughly 12%, and that was from 2022. So you never know, that number could have increased. It might have decreased, but you have to figure it probably either increased or stayed right around that same number. And that is a concerning amount there. When it comes to who's eligible, when it comes to, if I come to the Taylorville Food Pantry on Tuesday or on Thursday or on Saturday and I say, hey, I need some help, how do we determine that if that person is eligible when they come through that door?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's actually one that we get asked fairly commonly. And the answer to it is right now, and for the last couple of fiscal years, we run according to the state of Illinois fiscal calendar. So according to the Illinois Department of Human Services, we are currently running at 300% of the federal poverty level. And basically what that means is on a monthly basis, if you have one person in your household and your monthly income is $3,913 or less, you are eligible to come to the Taylorville Food Pantry. For a family of 4, which is fairly common in our community, that number is $8,038. I guess I should also back up and tell you a family of 2 is also common, and that's $5,288. So those figures, based on the size of your household, as long as your household income does not exceed 300% of the federal poverty level, you are indeed eligible to come to the food pantry. Keeping in mind that this stat went up a couple of years ago. It used to sit at 185% of federal poverty level. So I nothing like math in the morning, but basically what that means is we are now serving more people, right? Because whereas the cutoff point used to be 185%, it's now 300%. That allows for more people to be able to use our resources than ever before.
And I am no mathematician, especially not in the morning, but roughly triple that of the federal guideline then, if I'm correct, would be there. A 4-person household, about $8,000. To me, that umbrella reaches a lot more people than even 185%.
That's exactly right. I mean, it's basically about a 50% increase to what we allow in from a need basis than what we were ever doing before. And like I said, it's been that way probably, time flies, but close to 2 years at this point. So for folks that are, struggling, keeping their household budgets in check, struggling, trying to figure out how they're going to feed and clothe their children this summer, I can't stress enough that it's worth a visit to our pantry. In all of my years doing this, I've only had one person come through the door who inquired about their eligibility. We shared with them the number, and they self-selected and said, my income exceeds that number. I guess I shouldn't be here. And, they turned around and, we treated those people, our neighbors. They're all our neighbors. And there's nothing wrong with asking the question, because if you're coming in the door, it means there's some reason why you feel like you need to be there. And if for no other reason, it's an education to understand, just the full extent of who we can serve. It's an honor to be asked the question.
And you would rather find out that, okay, I can't be served, but at least have made that attempt to find
right.
out.
Yeah.
Let's say somebody is listening to this right now and they go, man, I'm trying to hold on to everything I'm hearing, but I might need to reach out. I hear there's a new phone number for the Taylorville Food Pantry that needs to be shared, and it's already out there, but what can you tell me on the new phone number line?
Yeah, it was something that we needed to probably do a while ago. We've got all of our volunteers now that are inclined to check the phone every time that we're open and check for incoming voicemails and whatnot. But that number is 217-820-2651. It's 217-820-2651. It's been updated on our Facebook page. We remain active on social media. Matter of fact, Pam told me yesterday she and I both made a post to Facebook within the hour of one another. So we're active on Facebook. Our operating hours are Tuesday mornings from 8:30 to 10, Thursday evenings from 5:30 to 7, and Saturday mornings from 8:30 to 9:30. So we do everything we can to be accessible to our neighbors.
So if you have any questions about anything that has been discussed here today, make sure you use that new phone number, 217-820-2651. We're joined by co-coordinator of the Taylorville Food Pantry, Amy Hagan. We'll come right back around with more about the Taylorville Food Pantry when we return on WTIM, your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
The Big Sandy's rising.
WTIM.
You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm Grayson Bauman. Joining me is Amy Hagan, co-coordinator of the Taylorville Food Pantry. We talked about donation days and drive days that are coming up as well, letter carrier food drive and other things like that. We want to highlight one additional piece here, and that was a recent presentation by a Taylorville High School student. Amy, take me away, and what can you tell me there?
Well, we were honored to have a young lady, a Taylorville High School senior, who came and volunteered for us as part of a research project. And she reluctantly made an invitation to me to come and hear the presentation. I was so blown away by her. It was a 10-page thesis and it was a 10-minute presentation. It was 100% spot on. What I love about it is we talk about all the time how we exist not just to feed our neighbors and address the issue of food insecurity in our community, but to make sure that successive generations understand the issue and are mobilized to want to do something about it. And that's exactly what happened here. I mean, this paper, I asked her for a copy of it. Is my intention to memorialize a copy of it at the food pantry, and for every new incoming volunteer, give them a chance to read the paper so that they understand how we're related to the whole and how they can be a part.
Very cool to see a high school student be able to do something quite like that. Well, Amy, thank you so much for joining me here today, co-coordinator of the Taylorville Food Pantry here on your information station. Our morning show brought to you by People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF Taylorville, 107.5 W298 CD Shelbyville, 107.9 W300 EH Payne and Nokomis.
In Pakistan-administered Kashmir. These were areas that the government had encouraged journalists to visit and said